I will be talking to you about the role of HRCT chest in detection and prognostication in COVID-19. Now, from 31st December 2019, when the Chinese CDC first declared that there was an outbreak of the novel coronavirus in Wuhan city in Hubei province, to the first case detected in India and through Kerala in January 30, 2020, to the detection of an official pandemic by WHO in 11th March 2020, and currently now, where there are about 21 million documented cases worldwide and over 2.5 million cases documented in India, it has been a learning curve for us. Because of this, the knowledge of this new condition is rapidly evolving, and we can see that all the published data and the publicly available information that is there is not completely up to date. What is most important is that we diagnose this condition early, which is very essential for patient isolation and for prompt clinical intervention. We all know that RT-PCR is a highly specific test, and it is by far the gold standard for the diagnosis of COVID-19. However, it has a variable sensitivity documented between 37 to 70%, and it has a turnaround time of around a day or so, which underscores that need for a complementary diagnostic approach. Where CT plays a role is that it is able to detect early parenchymal lung disease, is able to detect disease progression and alternative diagnosis other than COVID-19. And that is why some centers are relying on the improved detection of this COVID-19 findings with CT and its association with clinical worsening to determine whether the patient can be shifted home, whether he needs hospital admission or intensive care. Now, there were a lot of papers coming out of Wuhan initially documenting CT findings in RT-PCR positive cases. There are multiple studies, one carried out at the University of Southern California and another carried out at AIIMS itself and published in the European Journal of Radiology as well as the American College of Radiology white paper, which suggested what the typical findings on CT are of COVID-19. And these are the findings that they gave. The classical findings are that COVID-19 shows ground loss opacities, which are predominantly seen in the lower lobe, predominantly seen peripherally. They are usually multiple and usual involvement of bilateral lung fields. These may or may not be associated with crazy paving. I will explain to you later on what this means. May or may not be associated with peripheral consolidation, with air bronchograms, and the reverse halo or the perilobular pattern, which is usually seen in organizing pneumonia. Just on a pointer.
Here's what I found on the internet.
Yeah. Probable COVID-19 in which there is about a 71 to 99% confidence for diagnosis of COVID on the CT is that there is usually lower lobe predominant mix of bronchocentric and peripheral consolidation, but you may not get ground glass opacities. And also you get reverse halo and perilobular pattern, which is seen in all organizing pneumonias. Indeterminate findings on CT scan in which there is less than 70% confidence for detection of COVID. These are the findings that do not fit into definite, probable, or into completely non-COVID findings. That means you get the above patterns, but the clinical context is wrong. That means it is not in an endemic region, or there is an alternative diagnosis such as an interstitial lung disease or a connective tissue disease. And then there are the non-COVID findings in which we are pretty sure that this is absolutely not COVID, such as in lobar pneumonia and cavitated infections, when we get a tree bud appearance as centrilobular nodulity, when you get extensive lymphadenopathy infusions, and when there is established pulmonary fibrosis, which is seen on the HRCT scan. Now, these are some of the classic cases of COVID-19. As you can see, this is showing peripheral ground glass attenuation. Now, ground glass attenuation means there is increased attenuation of the lung parenchyma, but we can still see the underlying bronchovascular markings through the opacity. This is to be differentiated from consolidation, which we see in this case, in which you cannot see the underlying bronchovascular markings of the lung parenchyma. So this is a classic COVID-19 case in which there are peripheral ground glass opacities. There is crazy paving in which these underlying septa are thickened because of edema, and this gives rise to the classical crazy paving appearance. and also these peripheral consolidations. Another case in which you can appreciate the crazy paving very well. This is a whole area of ground glass attenuation that we can see, and underlying these thin septa are thickened out here and gives this crazy paving appearance that we see on paved roads. Again, in this case, you can see that is predominantly subpleural affection in the lower lobe here. Another classical case in which you can see that there is diffuse ground glass opacity. You can see the underlying lung parenchyma. But interestingly, there is this reverse halo sign, which is commonly seen in organizing pneumonias. But in this setting and in this distribution, this is very classical of COVID-19. Now, based on all these findings that they have found in more than 5,000 cases of RT-PCR positive COVID-19 cases, the Dutch Radiological Society put forward a CORADS category, somewhat similar to BI-RADS and PI-RADS, in which based on the radiological findings on CT, we could say what is the possibility of this patient having COVID-19, starting from CORADS 0, in which the scans are not interpretable, to CORADS 5 and 6, in which the probability is very high, and on 6, where the RT-PCR was positive and we are seeing some lung changes. So this is a CORADS category 0, in which the scan is technically insufficient to really say whether this is actual ground glass attenuation or because this is of improper breath hold. Then we have the CORADS category 1, in which the scan is either normal or there are non-infectious findings such as emphysema, periphyseal nodules, lung tumors, and as you can see in this case, some amount of fibrosis. In these cases, there is very low level of suspicion for pulmonary involvement based on these CT results. Then there is the CORADS category 2, in which we see there is a low level of suspicion for COVID-19 because we see findings which are seen in other infections, such as a huge thick wall cavity that we are seeing out here and multiple nodules that we are seeing out here, which are conglomerating together to give this tree inbud appearance. So these are very much classical of a Mycobacterium tuberculosis infection and completely not in favor of a COVID-19. Again, we are seeing a dense lobar consolidation out here, which we will never see in a case of COVID-19. Then we come to these cases of CORADS category 3, in which there are equivocal findings on the CT that can be found in other viral pneumonias or in other non-infectious causes, in which you get either diffuse or perihilar or unifocal or unilateral ground glass attenuation. Okay, as you can see out here, there are perihilar ground glass attenuation and not pleural and subpleural ground glass attenuation that we normally see in COVID. Then we see patterns of consolidation which may be seen in organizing pneumonia, but you don't see other typical findings of COVID-19. So all these go in the CORADS category 3, which is equivocal findings. Then we have the CORADS category 4, in which there is a high level of suspicion on the CT scan for findings which are typical of COVID-19, but they may also show some overlap with other viral pneumonias, such as you get these multiple ground glass opacities, but these are usually unilateral, or you get multifocal consolidations without any other typical findings. And these are commonly confused when we have pre-existing or coexisting pulmonary disease. Then is the classical or the typical findings of COVID-19, in which the obligatory or the mandatory features which we know to label a case as CORADS category 5 are ground glass opacities, which we see out here, with or without consolidations, which are close to the pleural surfaces and not central, including subpleural surfaces. These usually have to be multiple and we usually have to be bilateral in distribution. Some of the confirmatory findings we can see are these ground glass attenuation, which are half rounded in shape or rounded in shape. These are sharply demarcated and not ill-defined. Then the presence of crazy paving, as you can see here, the interlobular septa underlying these ground glass attenuation are thickened. These all contribute to the category that is CORADS 5. And then the CORADS category 6, in which before the scan, the RT-PCR is already positive and we need to document the extent of lung involvement. This is a RT-PCR positive case, and we can see that there are extensive ground glass attenuation and few focal patchy consolidations which are seen along the pleural surfaces. Now, this is a 58-year-old male patient who presented with mild cough since 14 days. He had no comorbidities, and we did his HRCT thorax, and what we could see is that there were subpleural ground glass opacities throughout his lung field, but in some of these cases, we could see that there was some amount of progression to consolidation. Again, this is a 42-year-old male patient with breathlessness. His oxygen saturation was around 92% on room air. He had cough and fever since 7 to 8 days. Again, you can see these well-defined rounded ground glass opacities which are seen predominantly in the subpleural regions. In the lower lobes, you can see that there is a extensive ground glass attenuation in both the lower lobes. Again, this was a 60-year-old male patient with fever, cough, and breathlessness since 10 days. His oxygen requirement was quite high, 96% on 4 liters of oxygen. He had comorbidities such as diabetes and hypertension. And you can see this classical crazy caving appearance, which we see in COVID-19. There is extensive involvement of both the lung fields, but this was again a CORADS 5 case. What we also see are post-treatment sequelae in cases of COVID-19. This is an RT-PCR positive case in which we've seen a tracheostomy was performed, and this was the finding after 3 days of tracheostomy. You see extensive barotrauma with extensive subcutaneous and intermuscular emphysema. There is evidence of extensive pneumomediastinum, and there is extrapleural intrathoracic air. This mimics pneumothorax, but this is extrapleural intrathoracic air which is seen. And in the lung parenchyma, you can see there are extensive changes which suggest a possibility of ARDS. These changes occur in almost 15% of patients with COVID-19 infection who require invasive mechanical ventilation, and was more likely to occur in younger patients than older patients. This was a case in which this patient had a positive contact with a COVID-19 patient, presented with fever and generalized weakness in 10 days. The oxygen saturation was 92% on room air, and the RT-PCR tests were twice negative. And because there was a high index of suspicion, a CT test was done on 31st July and detected classical COVID-19 case with subpleural ground glass opacity. There are subpleural bands. There are well-defined rounded ground glass attenuation and a reverse halo sign. This was a CORADS 5 case. Now, a meta-analysis of all the papers has been carried out, and the diagnostic accuracy of CT of COVID-19 is varying widely from 60 to 98% sensitivity and 25% to 53% specificity. As such, the positive predictive value is roughly around 92%, and the negative predictive value is around 42%. And this is also in a population which has a high pretest probability for the disease. Because of this low negative predictive value, it is suggested that CT may not be valuable as a screening test for COVID-19, at least in the earlier stages of the disease. Now, there were various papers which are detecting the diagnostic accuracy of CT for COVID-19. This was a paper for Wuhan published in the European Journal of Radiology. It said that more than 5% of patients had initial false negative RT-PCR results and turned positive after multiple tests. However, 86% of these patients presented positive chest CT before the initial negative RT-PCR. So there is a case for doing RT-PCR in strongly suspected individuals, CT chest in strongly suspected individuals in which the RT-PCR comes negative. Again, another paper in which they've reviewed 4,410 adult patients of COVID-19 published in European Journal of Radiology. Though they say that RT-PCR is the gold standard, but as the sensitivity is slightly on the lower side, 60 to 70%, CT chest may be used to diagnose COVID-19. However, it is not routinely indicated in asymptomatic patients for screening or in low-risk patients with mild clinical symptoms. And this was actually the seminal paper. It is a multinational consensus statement from the Fleischner Society, which included pulmonologists, radiologists, pathologists, intensivists, and these are some of the recommendations that they have put forward. That imaging should not be routinely carried out as a screening test for COVID-19 asymptomatic individuals. It's not indicated for patients with mild features of COVID-19 unless they're at risk for disease progression. It's indicative for patients with moderate to severe features of COVID-19, regardless of what the COVID-19 test is. So even if the RT-PCR comes negative, if they are moderate to severe features of COVID-19, we need to image them. This is indicative for patients with COVID-19, and if there is worsening respiratory status, these are the indications as far as CT is concerned. So based on all these studies and the imaging findings that we found now, we have put forward some few guidelines and recommendations. As a screening test in asymptomatic individuals, we would not like to recommend HRCT of the chest. In symptomatic individuals, if the patient is mildly symptomatic, we do not need to carry out a CT unless there is a risk of progression. If the patient is moderately to severely symptomatic, then we need to carry out the CT irrespective of the RT-PCR status. One is for detection and for mapping the extent of involvement. In proven cases in which RT-PCR is already positive, CT should be sparingly used and it should be reserved for hospitalized symptomatic patients with specific clinical indications if there is progression. Like if you want to differentiate organizing pneumonia versus ARDS, or if there is some amount of neurological symptoms or worsening respiratory system. Post-recovery also, we have seen that CT we carry out in patients who have some sort of functional impairment and or hypoxemia, and we are able to pick up some amount of fibrosis. Generally, RT-PCR test is to be carried out if findings typical of COVID-19 are incidentally detected on CT scans, and this has happened in a few cases in which the patient has come for other complaints, and a few of the basal cuts, we have found that the patient has findings which are typical of COVID-19. In spite of all this, the practice patterns and resource availability vary across different regions. Hence, we need to arrive at a multidisciplinary consensus to establish a practice algorithm. These are some of the resources that I've used to arrive at these conclusions. I thank you for your patient hearing. This is a silent tribute and a silent prayer to all our corona warriors and all the doctors and health professionals who have died while saving lives. Thank you for a patient hearing.